Perry discovered the North Pole, Amundsen the South. However, neither of these esteemed explorers would have had much success finding Frostbite Falls, Minnesota, in the dead of winter. Incidentally, that's it, that steeple sticking up out of the snow. Now, with the town submerged under 30 or 40 feet of the soft white stuff, you might wonder how its inhabitants managed to dig their way out. Well, they don't. They rely completely on the snowplow. A snowplow with antlers.
Spring will be a trifle late this fall.
Bullwinkle, is that you up there? It's me, Granny Goodfoot.
Keep talking, Granny, till I get zeroed in.
Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to be here today on this...
Gotcha!
Oh, Bullwinkle, bless your mittens.
And that's the way it went throughout the winter. The moose unearthed an average of 20 frostbitten frostbite fallers a day.
Here, my boy, here's a ruble for your trouble.
No, sir, not 1 red cent.
With the arrival of spring, when the thermometer came all the way up to 0, the grateful townfolk decided to reward their faithful snowplow.
Let's get him a watch.
Let's get him a bigger shovel.
No, we must get him something worthy of his labor.
So they merged their meager finances and ordered a statue of Fulton J.T. Figsby, the man who first discovered icicles.
Why the white tie and tails, Bullwinkle?
Haven't you heard, Rock? I'm to be giving a testimonial dinner.
Yeah, but that's a week away. Besides, you're not fully dressed.
Sure I am. I got on my fuchsia spats, my cerise hanky, my... Ooh, shame on you, Rocket J. Squirrel. You let me come out here without a shirt on. Practically stark naked in front of all these people.
Now, it's common knowledge that the only laundry in Frostbite Falls is run by a former cookie cutter.
All your shirts have holes in them.
Yeah. Here's a gingerbread boy. There's a macaroon. Doggone it, I don't have one decent shirt to my... Oh, yes, I do. Ta-da! This one I've been saving for a special occasion.
That's a shirt?
Of course it's a shirt. It even has truffles.
It also has a spot.
Where?
Alas, an infinitesimal dash of Tabasco sauce marred an otherwise ghastly piece of wearing apparel.
Get some spot remover.
Here you are.
That's a rolled-up newspaper.
Well, I knew a feller who had a dog named Spot, and this was the doggonedest spot remover you ever did see.
Not bothering to explain, Rocky proceeded to eradicate the stain.
That's funny.
A straight line funny?
I mean the spot. It's spreading.
Sure enough, the ink stain grew larger.
You said it was Tabasco sauce.
Well, from here it looked like it.
It doesn't matter. I shall simply wrap it up thusly and send it to be laundered.
To Carl, a cookie cutter?
No, to Ed Foo Young's Chinese Laundry.
I hope you don't mind my asking, Bullwinkle, but exactly where is your shirt going?
Well, Rock, when you're looking for a Chinese laundry, you don't look in Switzerland.
Oh, don't tell me.
Yup. 1 round-trip ticket to Shanghai.
Shanghai? China?
They got a Shanghai in Ohio, but they don't do shirts as well.
Better make that 2 round-trip tickets, please.
Say, Rock, does anybody ever wonder where we get all the money to gallivant around the world like we do?
Never mind, Bullwinkle. The plane's leaving in an hour.
Yeah, but I think it's all so improbable.
Well, like the man said when he built a bigger building, we're off on another story, and a tall one at that. Be with us next time for Hello, Orient, or That's Some Dandy-Looking China you have there.
There was once a young lad who'd been sent fishing by his father in hopes of catching a meal for their table. The boy had fished and fished since early morning, but had not caught a single fish. There was a reason for this, however, for he had forgotten to put bait or hook or line on his pole.
There's even a better reason than that.
Oh?
There's no water in the lake.
It was things like this that caused his father to name him Booby.
It used to be Bobby, but Papa changed it.
But just then...
Help! Save me! Help!
Who are you?
I'm a brownie.
Isn't that a kind of a fudge cookie?
Right, but I'm the kind with a long gray beard, and right now it's caught on this branch.
Why, don't worry about that. I'll have you loose in a jiffy.
And with a mighty tug, he did just that.
Boy, I bet that's smart.
It sure makes the tears come to my ducts, I'll tell you that. But stick your head into that hole in the tree, and you shall have your reward.
That sounds kind of stupid even to me. Couldn't I just have a dime or something like that?
But he got no answer, for the little brownie disappeared before his very eyes. Deciding that he had nothing to lose, the boy did as the brownie told him. And when he pulled it out again, there was a bright red hat on his head. Returning home, Booby told his father what had happened.
It's once in a lifetime anybody gets to do a favor for a brownie, and all you get out of it is a red hat.
With a feather in it?
You should have gotten a magic ring, a chest of gold, even a rich princess.
A yellow feather?
You know, I sometimes wish you were an owl.
A yellow feather with a... Why do you say that, dear father?
Because at least owls are smart, very wise.
Oh, in that case, I wish I was an owl, too.
No sooner had the boy wished that he were an owl than he turned into an owl.
Ah, so that's it. The red hat is a wishing hat. It's worth a fortune. Booby, come back!
Off the man ran, and though he found owls in barns, in trees, and of course in the owl sanctuary west of the town, he didn't find a single owl wearing a red hat. He went next into the city, where he found the captain of the Royal Guard and some of his men.
Captain, have you seen an owl go by wearing a red hat?
No, can't say I have. Of course, I haven't been looking for owls wearing red hats.
Well, I've got to find him. I've just got to.
What's so important about finding an owl wearing a red hat?
He's my son.
I see. Grab him, boys.
Thinking the man daft, the captain had him seized and thrown into the royal dungeon for safekeeping. But shortly after midnight, the owl wearing the red hat flew in through the bars of the cell.
Booby! And what have you been doing?
I've been swooping down on mice in the fields. What have you been doing?
Never mind. That's a wishing hat the brownie gave you.
Really?
Certainly. How do you think you got changed into an owl?
Well, I didn't give it much thought.
You wouldn't. Quick now, wish yourself back like you were.
I wish I was Booby, formerly Bobby.
Yeah, it works like a charm. Now, wish us out of this dungeon, boy. We got work to do.
Booby did. And the following morning, they did go to work. Oh, yes, indeedy. The father thought of things to wish for, and Booby, wearing the red hat...
With a feather in it.
With a feather in it, did the wishing. They wished for fine clothes, chests of gold and diamonds, and a great castle to live in. By noon, they had everything in the world they could possibly wish for.
Well, that does it, boy. From now on, I live like a king. We're going to have a celebration.
A great feast was held at the castle, and only the most famous people of the land were allowed to attend.
So you got all this with a wishing hat, did you?
This is the hat on my head, and my name is Booby.
He means Bobby.
But, Papa, you said...
I changed it back again.
How utterly charming. I should love to see the hat work.
All right. Quiet, everybody. Bobby is going to make a wish for you. Go ahead, boy. Make a wish.
What shall I wish?
Oh, who cares? Wish anything.
Okay. I wish I was in Dixie.
Oh, no.
It was too late.
Booby, you come back here.
I thought you said his name was Bobby.
Not anymore, it isn't.
Bobby's wish had a far-reaching effect, for shortly after he vanished, so did everything else. And the father was once more a simple, ragged peasant.
I say, nasty bit of luck, old chap. Well, we must be running along now. Cheero!
Party pooper.
The father spent the rest of his life searching the woods for trap brownies. And what happened to Booby? Well, the wishing hat didn't work in Dixie. But he didn't care, for it was still a fine red hat.
With a feather in it.
He married, he settled down, and had 100 children. And his children's children had 100 children. Yes, there was to be a long line of Boobies. In fact, there are quite a few of them to this day. For some reason, they all seem to be on the freeway. Every night around 5 o'clock.
Let's face it, any moose who spends the winter digging his neighbors out of the snow deserves a tribute.
3 cheers for Bullwinkle!
Oh, we have to give him more than that.
4 cheers?
They decided to honor him with a testimonial dinner. Unfortunately, although he had white tie and tails, he lacked a shirt.
Oh, no, I don't. I've been saving this one for years.
Well, you didn't save it long enough.
Yes, the shirt was not only gauche, but extremely bizarre.
That's where I got the pattern for it. Out of Harper's Bazaar.
It wasn't an easy shirt to get close to, but if you managed to get within 3 feet, you noticed the stain.
Shucks, I'll have that out in a jiffy.
Rocky didn't have a jiffy. Perhaps that's why the stain expanded. Shortly thereafter, a plane bearing Bullwinkle's shirt took off into the wild blue.
Yonder.
You're sending your shirt to a laundry, right?
Right.
To a Chinese laundry, right?
Well, they're known for their smart work.
However, the Chinese laundry he mailed it to was in Shanghai, China.
2 tickets to Shanghai, please. I have to pick it up in order to be back here in time for the banquet.
How come we didn't go with a shirt in the first place?
You saw that shirt. Would you want to ride with it?
Shanghai has a population of millions employed in various occupations, among which is the Mammoth Frap Toy Manufacturing Company, whose slogan, "If it's a frap, it's great," is known the world over.
Better not go into the laboratory, Mr. Frapp. Professor Steinmetz left orders not to be disturbed.
I'm an employer, Miss Bracegirdle. I can disturb anybody.
Gently, Boris, gently.
You don't got to tell me I got the hands of a sturgeon.
That's surgeon, Boris.
Don't call me Boris. My pseudonym is Steinmetz.
Steinmetz, I want to see what you're working on.
Go away. Can't you see I'm... Oh, hello, man who pays salary. I kiss your hand. The one you signed the checks with.
Good grief, what are you cooking in that hibachi?
His great new toy. I call it Mickey Mouse Watch. You see, the little hand points to the hour.
That's the oldest toy in the world. Steinmetz, you're fired. Out, out, both of you, out!
Bullwinkle's shirt reached its destination on Monday. Our heroes, due to a monsoon over Santa Barbara, didn't get to Shanghai until Wednesday. There on the corner of Chow and Main, they spotted, perhaps that's the wrong word, Ed Fu Young's Chinese laundry.
Well, looks like we finally caught up with the little rascal.
It sure does, and I can't wait to... That's odd.
Your last word was 2. That isn't odd, it's even.
Look who's walking into the laundry.
Sure enough, Steinmetz, Boris and Natasha were also patronizing Ed Fu Young's.
I'm a little too far away to tell, but that looks like our old friends Pick and Pat.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Come on.
You can imagine our hero's surprise to discover that the only person in the laundry was a man behind the counter.
Well, whoever came in here disappeared.
Hello there, man behind the counter. I have come for my shirt.
We're very busy. You present ticket, you get shirt.
He doesn't have a ticket. You see, this entire transaction was perpetrated under some extraordinary circumstances.
You like to break that down into English?
And the little squirrel proceeded to recapitulate episodes 1 and 2. But let us digress and enter a secret room behind the laundry. It is here that Boris and Natasha found refuge from prying eyes. What's going on? I'm afraid we won't know until our next chapter, tentatively entitled Let's Blow Up New York, or We Bombed 'Em at the Palace.
Hi there, culture and archery fans. Today's poem is The Arrow and the Song by Longfellow. I shot a arrow into the... Ooh, my, that's smart. Well, try again. Smaller bow. I shot it through the air. It fell to earth. I know not... Oh! Boy, it's a dangerous poem. I shot a arrow into the... Oh, Faz. I chunked the arrow into the air. That's better. It fell to earth. I know not where. But when it...
You lose an arrow, Moose.
Why, yes. Did you find one?
What's it look like to you?
Looks like about 30 days. So if your feathered shaft should soar up high among the sparrows, you'll always know the final score. No hits, no runs, no arrows.
Hello again, Peabody here. Sherman, what does the word sphinx make you think of?
Skunk?
Oh, dear. Never mind. Today we are going to Egypt to witness the true story behind the building of the first Great Pyramid. Getting right down to the business at hand, I instructed Sherman to set the wayback for the year 3000 BC, and the place, Giza, on the border of the Libyan desert. Needless to say, the wayback responded beautifully, slammed into high gear, and in less than an instant, we were standing inside the palace of Cheops, second king of the 4th dynasty. However, it appeared as though we had arrived at a rather bad time.
By the beard of the sacred flamingo, I won't have it.
I beg your pardon, Your Highness, but what seems to be the trouble?
My mustache. That is what's the trouble.
Mustache? But you don't have a mustache.
I do over there.
He directed our eyes to a huge painting of himself on the far side of the room that covered the entire wall. Sure enough, it had a large black mustache on it.
It took 300 slaves 2 years to paint that magnificent picture of me. Then he comes along and puts a mustache on it.
And whom, might I ask, is he?
The evil Prince Ahmed Fez.
Is he your arch enemy?
Yes, and he is also just 5 years old. If he wasn't my nephew, I'd...
His words were cut short by a large pimento cream pie full in the face. This little beast, I take it, is Prince Ahmed Fez?
The third.
Gosh, you mean there were 2 more like him? Ouch!
Ooh, that Ahmed. I'll feed him to the camels. I'll...
Sire, you must remember he's only a child.
Perhaps nothing. This time I will build a swimming pool shaped like King Farouk. It will be the biggest swimming pool in the world. I'd like to see him wreck that.
He can't paint a mustache on it either. But poor Cheops is still on the wrong track, Mr. Peabody.
Construction began immediately, and in what even I consider record time, the pool was completed.
It's done. This pool will go down in history as a great wonder of the world.
I'm sorry, sire, but I'm afraid it's about to go up in the air as another failure. It seemed as if dear little Prince Ahmed had obtained some gunpowder on a recent trip to China, and this gave me a brilliant idea.
It's no use. I give up.
No need for that, sire. I have a plan.
Mr. Peabody always has a plan, Your Highness. Why, one time he...
Never mind, Sherman. I'll give him an autographed copy of my memoirs before we leave. I took a pencil and some papyrus and quickly drew some very complicated plans.
What is this?
It is the monument you are going to build to yourself, a pyramid.
Pyramid? Say, I like this idea. But what about Prince Ahmed?
You leave him to me. Just make certain the pyramid is constructed exactly as I have indicated. Every slave in the kingdom was called to the task. Huge stones were quarried, shaved to the precise size, and rolled into position. 40 days and 30 nights later, the project was complete.
Beautiful. Wonderful.
Mr. Peabody, I never thought I'd live to see the day.
What day is that, Sherman?
The day you would make a mistake. Look, you designed the pyramid upside down. It's standing on its point.
I'm surprised at you, Sherman. That is the most perfectly precogitated part of my plan. Remember, Ahmed the Terrible is still lurking about with his gunpowder and... there he is now, right on schedule. Inasmuch as I had designed the monument with this in mind, the pyramid was not damaged a bit. It simply flew into the air, turned over 3.5 times, and then settled to earth in its proper position.
Perfect! Oh, Mr. Peabody, can you ever forgive me for doubting your velocity?
I suppose so, Sherman, but that is veracity. At this point, the problem was solved. The world now had one of its 7 wonders.
What about Prince Ahmed? Won't he cause more trouble?
Not when you consider the pyramid is 481 feet high, and there is a fine, spanking breeze at the top. You see, Sherman, I managed to get to the seat of most any problem.
Gee, it was sure nice of King Cheops to invite us to dinner, Mr. Peabody. Yum. This is delicious. I wonder what it is.
It's just something else His Highness is famous for. In fact, this particular dish was named after him.
You don't mean...
That's right, Sherman. Lamb Cheops.
present, we're headquartering in Shanghai, China. Rocky and Bullwinkle, you may recall, are there to pick up Bullwinkle's shirt from a Chinese laundry.
All this fuss just to have a clean shirt.
Well, you wouldn't expect me to wear a dirty shirt to my testimonial dinner, would you? Don't answer that.
Other familiar figures were also in the city, at the Frapp Toy Manufacturing Company, to be specific.
Professor Stein, miss, I hired you to create new toys for me.
You hit fingernail right on the head, oh boss man.
Well, you've been in this lab for 6 months. What have you got to show for it?
190 yen in take-home pay.
But Boris had been working on something, a toy watch. Of course, this was as old as the hills in Hong Kong. Boris and Natasha were fired on the spot. Meanwhile...
There it is, Bullwinkle. Ed Fu Young's Chinese laundry.
They were about to enter when who should come along and precede them but...
You got dirty linen to wash?
No, but I got dirty plans.
Boris went in, Natasha went in, Rocky went in.
And Bullwinkle went in.
Yes, but inside there was no sign of Boris and Natasha.
One clean shirt to go.
Without a ticket, it would take some haggling to get his shirt. That's when we peeked into a secret back room.
Boris, for why we slave like white-collar workers just to make toy tiki-talk?
Shh. Keep your accent down. Now, you mean to say you thought that was actually really toy watch? Here, look at master plans.
An intricate blueprint was spread before them.
Now, see here where fireplace is in the kitchen?
That's plan for house.
For my old age, which was 10 years ago. Here is master blueprint.
And on the back of a bubblegum wrapper, inscribed with the head of a rusty diaper pen, was a detailed drawing of the toy watch.
Yes, but what does watch do?
You see miniature mushroom cloud over watch?
No.
Yes?
No.
Again, I got to say yes. This little tiki-tac, as you so quaintly put it, honey bunch, is really a tiny atom bomb. With weapon like that, me and you can rule the world.
But, darling, you never smuggle watch out of Shanghai. They got wanted posters of you all over town.
There was even one in the secret room.
Don't fear, dear. I'm not going to smuggle watch. I got Confederate.
You know Jefferson Davis?
Look through peephole. What do you see?
I see shelves filled with shirt packages.
But that small package on the second shelf contained more than a shirt.
Now watch doorway. Accomplice comes in, says secret word, gets package, and meets us in US of A.
Say, there are two auspicious characters out there.
Never mind. Just listen for secret words.
Yeah, but those two...
Listen for secret words.
I tell you, Mr. Young, I have to be back in Frostbite Falls by Saturday night.
Go see travel agent.
But he needs his shirt.
How things look? Confederate show up yet?
No, just that moose.
Secret words. Wait for secret words.
Please, Mr. Young, you gotta let Bullwinkle have his shirt.
Bullwinkle? That very ridiculous name.
By the by, darling, what are secret words?
I quote, perhaps you would rather I be John Philip Sousa?
Perhaps you would rather I be John Philip Sousa?
You like to repeat that for West Coast?
I said...
Never mind. Here is a secret package waiting for you.
And with time definitely not on their hands, our boys left the shop. Well, be sure not to miss our next episode, Exploding Population, or Pull Yourself Together.
Hello there, culture lovers. This here pin is part of today's poem, the Old Almanac verse, C.A. Pin. C.A. Pin, pick it up. All the day you'll... Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. C.A. Pin, pick it up. All the... Didn't get it. C.A. Pin, pick it up. Uh-oh, it rolled into a crack. Come out of there, doggone it. All right, I'll pick it up the easy way. What happened?
As far as I can tell, Mr. Moose, a pin got stuck in the motor.
Well, that does it.
Where are you going?
I'm going somewhere where I can say my poem.
But that's a bowling alley.
Of course. These pins I can pick up. C.A. Pin, pick it up. All the day you'll have good luck.
Don't you believe it?